Okay, we got it running, but now we're going to try to get it running right. So we're going to start with building this carburetor. I've got it off. I'm going to go ahead and put an exhaust pipe on this. I'm going to go back with the original. I'm just going to make a sleeve to go on it. And then we're going to start it up, get it warmed up. Once it warms up, shut it back off and go ahead and adjust the valves. And then we'll get the valve covering on it. And we'll see if we can make this thing purr like the kitten it's supposed to be. All right. Okay, so of course they didn't have a kit available for a 48 Nash. Couldn't find, any listing on it. So I bought a kit for a 1962 Chevrolet, which I believe was the last year for a Carter on the Chevrolets. And as you can see, gaskets match, both lower and upper. The needle and seat's going to be matching the same with no issues. We got it all tore down and cleaned up. And this is just a regular Carter YF. Let me see if I can find the... Yeah, you might can see it. So I can't find any differences. Accelerator pump, everything measures out the same. The diaphragm on this one was, I don't know that it was, well, I guess it was bad, but it had a lot of looked like dried gas and stuff all over it. So anyway, so we're going to clean everything up and see if we can get this thing back together and make sure there's no ports that are obstructed in any way, and hopefully we can get this thing back together and it'll be running good here shortly. So no gas in the float, so that's a good sign. The needle wasn't seating really good. I was having some issues with that, so I think once we're done here we'll have a good setup. We'll see what ends up happening. Okay folks, carburetor's back together. We didn't do a soak it or anything like that. I went ahead and cleaned all the ports out. I know where all the ports are on this particular carburetor. This is a Carter YF. I actually used to work at what was called Carter Weber, and is now, well, it was TGI. Now it's Magneti Marelli. I think all they do now is fuel injection parts, but I actually worked in the reman, where I used to actually not rebuild, but completely reconditioned carburetors, where we would actually put new throttle shaft bushings in, everything. We done them back to OEM specs, even done the zinc coating, the blackening, which you see a lot of parts, and just every bit of it. And then when they was done, they was back to OEM specs. But throttle shaft's good in this, there's no issues. And if you're wondering where all the ports are on these things, if you'll look at the plugs, you can pretty much tell where they've been drilled and plugged. And so it's not, it's not rocket science on an old carburetor like this. And so the float, well, like I said, didn't have any fuel in it, so it's not, it's not a bad float. We changed out, the needle and seat. I had to do some float adjustment, pretty major float adjustment, because this needle and seat was a little bit longer. Like I said, this kit was for a 62 Chevrolet. But as long as it stops the fuel and lets the fuel go when it needs to, that's all it needs to do. So we're going to stick this thing back on and see how it runs. Just move that hose over. Don't worry about the tank. Just don't get the hose hooked up. Throttle. Alright, running good. Alright, let's get some exhaust up there and make it sound a little better now that it runs better. Okay, so still haven't done the exhaust yet, but I went ahead and put a hose on. I can't get the engine as hot as I want to get it up top to be able to adjust the valves. And if I run it too long, you know, we'll have other issues with heat at the bottom. So we're going to run water in this pipe. Let me zoom out here. So we're going to run some water in this pipe going down to the water pump. And then we have got an inner tube, bicycle inner tube hooked to the top. So it should flow out here on the ground. So we should be able to see how many nuts and stuff come out of it. But we'll go ahead and get the water hooked up and then we'll fire this thing up again. All right. Okay, we got her running good and all that, and I'm trying to get her heated up, but we run into an issue. That bicycle tube was restricting too much, not letting it flow like I wanted. The water's a little warm, so it's working just like we want it, but we need to get it out over top of this fan. We splashed some water up in the engine too, I don't like that. But she's oiling good. You know, I understand that people are used to seeing oil flow everywhere. You can see the oil down at the bottom dripping. What this does, it actually sends oil through here and then into the tube. These are returns, I guess if the tube fills up. But the tube just has oil pretty much laying in it. And it actually leaks out, and it's got little pieces that come over, little rubbers that come over and let it oil inside of here. And then as you can see, just looking, there's one that's getting a lot of oil. And then it just stays in that tube and then slowly comes out around them and runs down into the bottom. So this thing don't oil like a Chevrolet where it throws oil out everywhere. This is, you know, pretty normal. And what we'll do is before we button this up, we'll pour some oil down on it and make sure everything's lubricated good. But, you know, that's just the way the system was back then. And, you know, some cars you had to stop every 100 miles and take the valve cover off and actually oil them by hand. Chevrolets were like that in the 20s. So, anyway, we'll keep at it here. We're going to try to get this water situation figured out where we can run it a little bit, warm it up, and try to get these valves adjusted. It's idling about 250 RPM, if that. Okay, we got all the valves adjusted. No big, running pretty good. Still got to get that exhaust on. Now we've got to realize too we're running with the old points, the originals and the original coil, and the turbo cap motor button. Plug wires I just borrowed off of an old 6-cylinder I had, Chevrolet. Running pretty good. So we're going to keep at it. Gotta make it run right. Okay, I got it running here on the water, just here running. I'm going to turn it up a little bit and see if it'll move. Throttle cable's broke on this thing. It's a weird cable. I'll show you that in a minute. Just turn the idle up just a little bit. Alright, shove the clutch in, no? Second gear, and you got it reversed. Do it again. Okay. You're in third, or second. You're in second. Come back to you. Pull back toward the steering wheel. Push down on the shifter, up and down on it. Okay, that's how you shift it from. It should be up, and up should be toward you, and up should be reverse. See if that's reverse. Yeah, there's reverse. What'd you kill it for now? Ease on. Alright, that's good. Now go to first, just ease on. Make sure it's gonna move all right. That's first. Alright, that's good. Now go to neutral, right in the center. Just go halfway up. Push it. Right there. Now let the clutch out slowly, make sure you're in neutral. There you go. They're not hard. Alright. We're going to do something with the exhaust still. I'll show you that. Okay, so we're going to take the air cleaner apart. You know, there was nuts in the intake or in the exhaust, and there was nuts in the water jackets because there was radiator hose was off. So we're going to check the intake and see if they wasn't able to get through. There you go. That's terrible. They made a nest in there. Boy, oh boy. I don't know if them are going to be any good or not. It's going to be fun to clean out. Well, anyway, so evidently the air cleaner was on it at one time, and that's what kept them out of the carburetor. It's a weird setup. Alright, we'll get it cleaned up. Okay, hard to say what it sounds like on camera, but it really sounds good. No smoke whatsoever. Got the exhaust pipe on, just running down low. Put the air cleaner on. Is not stuck and seems to be going in gear okay. So we've got a few more things to do, but we're going to try to make this where we can at least drive it up and down the driveway and get some brakes working and stuff on it. It's going to take time. Okay folks, I know we was all debating and wondering what that hole through the side of the engine block was. that goes all the way through. Comes out on this side. Well, I think I figured it out. Noah, your lunch is ready. How's it taste, Noah?
Pretty good.
Good. Okay, well, let's sit here a little bit. We're going to start it one more time. Just see how quick it starts. That's it. Ready to go. Jordan's been at work all day. As you can see, he's all muddy, but this is the one that he's wanting. And for everybody that don't know, that is my son there. He's a lineman for the power company. Noah is not my son. Noah is a friend of mine's son and another friend of mine's grandson. He just works for me. So, all right, appreciate everybody watching, and until next time, bye.